Anwar is the owner of a vast property, and Tari is his only daughter. The two of them are sitting outside the hospital, waiting, while Anwar's wife Mina undergoes surgery inside. The reason for the surgery is that the baby in her womb has died. When the doctors cut open her abdomen and take the baby out, they discover that the baby's entire body is tightly entangled in hair. The doctors themselves are deeply worried by what they see. This incident leaves Anwar emotionally devastated. He buries the baby at a designated spot near the garden of his old house. Mina, overwhelmed by this loss, sinks even deeper into grief. This is the third time she has lost a child. One thought keeps haunting her. Will she ever be able to become a mother again? Anwar can do nothing but try his best to comfort her. When Mina is released from the hospital, she is taken home. The dark circles under her eyes clearly show how depressed she is. On top of that, Anwar and Tari barely have enough time to look after her, so a caretaker girl is hired to take care of Mina. Today, Anwar's younger brother Subhan arrives at their home. The main reason for his visit is to demand his share of the property. Anwar explains that the old house is the only thing left that holds memories of their father and grandfather. Besides, even if he sells it, what kind of money would he get for it? Anwar tells him he can take some money if he wants, but Subhan says such a small amount won't solve anything for him. If he could sell that old house at a good price, he would get a lot more money. Anwar refuses this proposal. This leads to an argument between the two brothers, and Subhan leaves. But before leaving, he warns Anwar that he will find a good buyer for that house. Meanwhile, Tari goes to her office. The company entirely belongs to her. Recently, they have been working on creating skincare products, and for this, they need a model. When Tari asks for updates at the office, her friend tells her that she has found a model. Tari then meets him. The boy's name is Naval. When she asks for further updates, she learns that they've acquired a new client. This client is one of the top influencers in Indonesia, though the company name sounds strange. Loro Joy Bono. For years, they have been investing in the steel industry, but now they are interested in investing in Tari's company. When Tari asks to see the company owner, they show her a photo and say her name is Miss Gendis. Something about her feels oddly familiar to Tari, as if she has seen her somewhere before. Back at home, as Minnie goes to give Mina her medicine, she hears Mina murmuring her daughter's name repeatedly in her sleep. Elsewhere, Tari realizes she forgot her car keys today. On her way home, she runs into Naval, who offers to drop her off. Meanwhile, Anwar is working in his office when his assistant Sonia arrives and reminds him of his meeting with the mayor at 3. But Sonia's attitude toward Anwar doesn't seem very positive, and Anwar has noticed this too. When Tari returns home, Minnie tells her that her mother has been calling her name repeatedly in her sleep. After seating Naval in the guest room, Tari goes to her mother's room. But this time, when she calls her mother, Mina keeps mumbling her brother-in-law Subhan's name in her sleep. This seems very suspicious to Tari. She decides she will discuss this with her father later. On the other side, Subhan goes to the old house. He tries to unlock the door with the old key he has, but it doesn't work. He realizes the lock has been changed. After finishing work, Anwar heads home. In the lift, the power suddenly goes out. He turns on the flashlight on his phone and tries to look around. Strange sounds echo in the darkness. It feels like something dropped from above. Fear begins to spread through him. Even after pressing the emergency button, no one responds. Terrified, he starts pounding on the elevator door, hoping someone will help him. Suddenly, he hears the sound of a baby crying from behind. Filled with dread, he turns around and sees a small child covered entirely in hair. Frightened out of his mind, he screams loudly. Somehow, he eventually manages to return home. As he arrives at the gate, Subhan suddenly appears and calls him. He tells Anwar that he has found a buyer for the old house and asks why Anwar changed the lock. He also says that tomorrow he needs the key to show the house to the buyer. Hearing this, Anwar loses all patience and anger bursts out of him. He makes it very clear that he will never sell that house. Subhan leaves angrily. Once inside, Tari tells her father everything that happened, that her mother kept uttering Uncle Subhan's name throughout the day in her sleep. Tari even suggests that maybe Uncle Subhan has done black magic on her mother because her mother's behavior has been changing day by day. Anwar explains to her that it is wrong to make assumptions about someone without knowing the truth. Father and daughter together go to check on Mina. They find her pulling out her own hair. Seeing this, Tari grows even more worried, and her suspicion of Subhan only increases. But again, Anwar tells her that no one has done black magic on her mother, and Subhan is still her uncle. She must not speak badly of him. After a long day of work, Tari opens her laptop. Her friend calls to talk about their upcoming event. Suddenly, the window bursts open. Startled, Tari goes to close it, only to see her mother standing outside. Why would her mother be out there so late at night? Terrified, she shouts, asking her mother why she is outside, and tells her to come in immediately. But Mina doesn't respond. When she doesn't come inside, Tari is forced to go outside herself. But when she looks around, Mina is nowhere to be found. Panicked, she rushes to her mother's room, only to run into her father. Anwar tells her he has to leave for the airport for work. When Tari enters the room, she finds her mother lying there, as if nothing happened. Meanwhile, Sonia goes to see a sorcerer. She wants to make Anwar fall for her. She secretly gathers some of Anwar's hair and wraps them around his photo, places it inside a bottle, and begins chanting a spell meant to enchant him. The sorcerer instructs her to make Anwar drink the water twice a day. Slowly, he will become weak and attracted to her. Tari sleeps beside her mother that night, but suddenly she wakes up and notices her mother isn't next to her. She hears someone desperately trying to vomit. When she stands up, she sees her mother standing near the window. Alarmed, Tari rushes to bring her some water, but when she turns back, she screams. Her mother grabs her, trying to show her something. Mina slowly puts her fingers into her mouth and pulls out a clump of hair. Her entire face turns red and her eyes turn white before she collapses. Tari loses consciousness as well. She is rushed to the hospital. When Anwar arrives, he comforts Tari. The doctors say she will need to stay there for a few days and give her some tests. Tari calls home and asks Minnie to bring some clothes for her mother. While searching the room for clothes, Minnie hears the sound of a child crying from outside the window and even from under the bed. When she looks under the bed, she sees nothing. But when she looks up, she sees herself sitting there in a white dress, holding a small child. Terrified, she screams. Unable to tolerate all these horrors, Minnie suddenly feels extremely nauseous. When she turns around, she sees Mina rocking back and forth in a rocking chair. Minnie runs out in fear. Outside the gate, she sees Subhan entering the house. This frightens her even more. She runs to her room, hides under the blanket, and lies there trembling. Morning has already arrived. Tari keeps calling Minnie's phone again and again, but Minnie still isn't answering. At the hospital, Tari runs into Naval, who came to see a relative. Naval finds out that Tari's mother is sick. Suddenly, Tari notices her uncle Subhan at the hospital, and he seems to be leaving. Tari requests Naval to follow him. Riding on the bike, the two follow Subhan all the way to Tari's old family house. Tari can't help wondering why he came here. Naval tells her she could just go inside and check. But Tari says no, not today, I'll look into it later. Then the two leave. Next, we see that as Anwar arrives at the hospital, Subhan reaches Anwar's house. Silently, he begins walking toward Anwar's room, but Minnie notices him there. Subhan enters Anwar's room and desperately searches for the key, but he can't find it. When Minnie eventually walks into the room, Subhan finally sees her. That night, Naval goes to Tari's old house. Flashlight in hand, he starts searching for something throughout the place. At one point, he reaches the spot where Mina's dead baby had been buried. After digging, he pulls the baby out, but as soon as he removes the cloth covering it, he hears the faint sound of crying from the baby's body. Naval takes the burial shroud and a bunch of Mina's hair from the spot and goes to a witch. And that witch is none other than Miss Gendis, the investor in Tari's company. She is the one who had told Naval to collect these items. The true reason behind gathering them is to take over their property. As Gendis begins chanting her spells, Mina, still at the hospital, suddenly sees the same burial cloth. The cloth leaps onto her body, wrapping tightly around her. The black magic is so powerful that even from a distance it begins destroying her. Her bones start breaking one by one. Eventually, blood begins dripping from the shroud, and Mina dies right there in the hospital. During all this, Tari was outside, but when she returns, she finds her mother dead. Hearing about Mina's death, Anwar rushes to the hospital. Before the burial, Tari goes to see her mother for the last time, but the condition of her mother's face terrifies her. Suddenly, the freezer door behind her opens on its own. Frightened, Tari slowly steps forward. Peeking inside, she sees a horrifying demonic figure staring back at her. Soon after, the burial begins. Once it's over, Subhan leaves. Even he feels something supernatural is going on. That night, when he returns to the old house, he breaks the door and enters inside. But when he enters a certain room, he is shocked. On the table lie strange black magic items. As Subhan moves toward another room, Tari suddenly strikes him on the head, knocking him unconscious. Meanwhile, Anwar seems to be rushing somewhere. When Subhan regains consciousness, Tari begins yelling at him. Subhan starts shouting back, saying that all their wealth didn't come overnight. Her father gained it through black magic. Tari responds that her father reached his position through his own ability. Hearing this, Subhan becomes furious and tells her to look at that broken door. He could enter because he broke it down. Otherwise, only her father could enter this house. He calls her father greedy, someone who could stoop to any level for wealth. Meanwhile, Anwar arrives at Gendis's house, screaming, "Why did you kill my wife?" Gendis tells him that all this is the result of his own actions. She reveals the truth. Anwar came from a poor family, rose to wealth using black magic, and was supposed to offer a sacrifice, but he never made that sacrifice. Because of that, the spirits killed his wife. Tari reads a book and learns everything. She rushes to her uncle. Subhan begs her to untie his hands. He tells her, "If you don't believe me, go outside and see. Your mother's dead baby is hanging from the tree." Elsewhere, Neville is at Mina's grave. He digs up the grave, takes the burial cloth, and leaves. Meanwhile, Minnie is all alone in the house. She begins hearing babies crying all around her. Terrified, she suddenly hears someone calling her name from behind. Turning around, she sees Mina, and the burial cloth comes flying toward her. Panicking, Minnie runs into her room and locks the door. But then she sees a dead baby hanging from the ceiling fan. A bunch of long hair wraps around her neck, and an invisible force begins pulling her upward. Finally, her head hits the spinning fan and is crushed. Minnie dies instantly. Subhan takes Tari to the garden and tells her that Minnie was pregnant. The day he visited their house looking for the key, he spoke to her. Minnie was pregnant because of her father. She couldn't tell anyone because she was terrified of him. Tari keeps calling her father, but Anwar doesn't receive the calls. Meanwhile, Gendis continues telling Anwar his own story. Suddenly, Neville hits Anwar on the head from behind, knocking him out. Neville says, "Your daughter is very beautiful. I wanted to marry her. But Loro Devta wants her blood, and I already have her hair." Anwar begs them not to harm his daughter under any circumstances. Meanwhile, Tari and Subhan head toward Gendis's house. When Anwar regains consciousness, he grabs a knife and kills Gendis. But even after dying, she rises again and calls him repeatedly from behind. This time, she demands a sacrifice, not for Loro Devta, but for herself. She tells him to bring her back to life again. Then she lunges at him and strangles him to death. When Tari and Subhan arrive, Gendis tries to kill Tari, and Subhan tries to protect her. Gendis grabs Subhan's throat as well. At that moment, Neville appears. Out of anger, Tari slaps him hard. Neville then does something strange. He begins pouring kerosene over Loro Devta's statue. As Gendis charges toward Tari, Neville sets the statue on fire. The flames gradually weaken her. Using the same weapon that Neville had given her earlier, Tari finally kills Gendis. This is where the movie's story ends.